So hopefully this won't like cut my intro in halfway. But this is episode 3 of Pick Your Battles, and today we are joined by BloodStro. Thank you very much for coming on, man. How you doing? You good?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Nah, it's cool, man. It's cool. I wanted to get you on straight away. You've done like a lot in the scene. I think your perspective and everything, your take will be good for a newbie, definitely. And so yeah, obviously every episode I am joined by my cousin Thomas. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm good. Keeping on.
Awesome. Yeah. That's all we can do.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I'm sure people are aware by now, or I hope people are aware by now, if they've watched the other episodes. The first question I'm going to ask is, BloodStro, what is BattleRap?
So, to quote one of my favourite battlers, Math Offer, this is BattleRap. 2 MCs hit a stage, no beat, with rap schemes and displays. And I can't remember exactly how he words it, but basically BattleRap is, obviously you can have 4 people, 2-on-2. As we talked about freestyle Royal Rumble, 3-on-3. It's just basically in a pit, either on stage, in front of fans, or with COVID, no fans, and it's just insulting each other. Who can come up with the best rhyme schemes? Who can come up with the best punchlines, funniest jokes? So yeah, that was BattleRap, and that's what made me fall in love with BattleRap. And I completely bombed on that math one. I've been trying to think of it in my head since you said you were going to ask me the question, but I can't remember the full thing. It was against Marv. Excuse my head in.
That's fine, man. Remembering quotes, tough. It's tough business.
That's why I have to write notes down when, like,
yeah,
I think I've watched battles like hundreds of times, like Arsenal versus Shotty. Yeah, like Arsenal versus Shotty. I must have watched like at least 20 times, like at least. And even now, like I sit there and think, right, what was that bar that I want to talk about? I can't even remember it. And I'm like, so I had to write notes on that on like the 30th time watching it.
What I love is, as I've just said that, I've remembered the whole thing in my head and it just pissed me off.
Yeah, drop it.
So this is
I would say
BattleRap.
I would edit it so it went right, but I can't edit, so we'll just, pretend.
Yeah, it is what it is. They'll expect it from me anyway. So this is BattleRap. 2 MCs hit a stage with no beat. They compete with rap schemes and displays, and although it's very mean and mean for the range, at the end of the day, they don't mean what they say. And then he goes, "Accept me." He did it against Dose, and I think he did it against Marv as well.
No, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Mm. No, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I do.
And as well, that touches on something that we were talking about the other day, about like how it's sometimes so tense in these battles, and like and then at the end they're like dapping each other up, and it's all chill. So I think there definitely is that sort of sense of like all rappers kind of know you have to put on that bit of a show of like, I don't really want to fight him, but I have to make it look like I do because I want to win.
Yeah, which brings us like perfectly on to like what we're going to talk about in this episode. Is there a line in BattleRap? Everyone's going to have a different opinion. Everyone has different like sense of humors and things like that. But as a new fan, Tom, is there something straight away that you can think of in your head that you just wouldn't want to see in a battle, or like said in a battle or anything like that?
Well, there's obviously like the obvious shit, like, like people being racist, people being like homophobic, sexist, like all that kind of shit. I don't like it, mainly because I think it's lazy. I think it gets a gut reaction out of an audience with very little work. So I think good rappers don't need to rely on shock. Like, obviously I'm not a rapper, I don't know what a good rapper does or is, but like there's something about it for me which is like, I'm spending more time thinking about the shock of what I've just heard, rather than thinking, oh, that was a really good bar, or like, oh, that was really well set out scheme. I think, because obviously saying, is there a line? Obviously, like that's quite a hard. I don't think there is like a line. I think it really depends on why you're saying what you're saying, and like more than what you're saying, and like how you're saying it. And like there's a lot of context that goes into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point. What about you, BloodStro? What do you think? Do you think there should be a line, or do you think it's just kind of between the battlers to decide that?
I agree wholeheartedly with the racism stuff. Like, that's got no room, not just in battle rap, in society, in the world, like whatsoever. Yeah. So that's a spot on point. The sexism stuff now, I agree to an extent, but when you watch how unbelievably crafted O'Shea's verses are for Myverse, and how he tailors it and how he spins the overall thing, like there's some sexist aspects in it, but it's not wholly centered around that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like if it's just a guy just being completely like a pig and just being completely sexist, then I ain't got time for that either. But when it's someone like O'Shea who can do it funny, perfect, but also make Myverse love the material as well, like that says something about the level of intelligence this man has. But for me, the big one is there's two of them. Kids, leave the opponent's kids out of it. I don't want to hear kids' names. I don't want to reference it. Nothing like. And dead relatives for me is another one. Given everything that I went through, if I'll be honest with you, as much as obviously I helped run Premier Battles, if I was to step foot in the ring and someone was to mention my little sister, I don't care about the event at that point. My head. So yeah, dead relatives, leave it out because it's just. Obviously, but at the same time, you got to know who you're facing. If you're facing an Arsenal, you know it's going to come because he's king of disrespectful. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Saying like you need to know who you need to know who you're against.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain rappers, Tom, that you'll get to know. Like we were saying that everyone has different like personas and things like. There are certain rappers that are just shock factor rappers and will say the things that no one else has got the balls to say. Almost, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't like that expression. That they ain't got the balls to. Nah, they're not dumb enough to say it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, like, they're not dumb enough to say it in a public place like that.
Yeah, like in a public setting. Like, I don't get it. Like, do you not have friends watching you? You're going to be disappointed. Like, is that not?
And I think on the sexism one as well. Like, I think I agree with you what you said. If it's done creatively, like Oshea does a lot of it in the Myverse battle, where he'll say like what was it? The toilet seat bit where he's like, and if I leave the toilet seat out, don't complain, just fucking put it down. Like that's playful. But then when he was, because I've shown it to my fiance as well, just to kind of see what she thought about it. And she was like, I wouldn't like cancel out O'Shea, but there was certain bars that I think were too close, she said. So I was like, okay, what bars? And I think one of them was the one where and I find it funny, so it's hard, it's subjective, I guess. But one of them where he says, "I fucking hate you, women. I want to tie bricks to your tits and take you swimming." Like, to me, that's playful in a certain way. But I guess to other like people, I guess it's gonna.
Yeah, I don't mind that one because like that to me is like it's ludicrous enough that nobody can take him seriously. Like, I doubt he actually wants to tie bricks to tits, you know? But, like, if you say, like, oh, I want to rape you, then it's like...
Yeah, like...
Then you're just being a twat.
Above all of, like, everything else that he said, the worst thing for her was the whole, you know, coming on his son's head. That was it. That was the bit where she was like, that would be the reason why she wouldn't watch Oshea again if she didn't already have seen a little bit of Oshea and know what he's like. Like, obviously that's not a true story. Like, but yeah, I think that was the worst part about that battle, in my opinion. He shouldn't have done that. That was just weird.
Yeah, just weird. It was just a weird time. Nobody felt good in that room. Again,
it was done well. If you know what I mean, like in that way, it was done like, well.
Artfully. It was done like, yeah. Had a good structure to it, I guess. It's weird, but hey, it's good rap. You know,
it like. Strange. But that battle as well. So Tom Myverse obviously came here from America. She was meant to be battling somebody else, Quill, but he backed out. This weren't the one where he backed out but turned up at the event, was it?
No, so that was the Don't Flop revival where it was meant to be. I think it was
Blizzard.
Yeah, with the 2-on-2s.
Yeah, because I remember
that's when me and Oshea did 2-on-2, and we were meant to be battling Wills in Soul Jitsu, but Soul Jitsu couldn't make it, so we ended up doing a 2-on-1, and then Bobby Rex jumped in.
Yes, I remember now. Because Bobby Rex jumped in a few different. That was the same event as was it the other 2-on-2s? Locksmith,
Calcium Kid and Pedro.
Yeah, and Locksmith and Tony.
Yeah, River and Fiora.
Yeah, that was good.
Wait, so he backed out of the event and then turned up to the event.
Yeah.
Fair. That's some big dick energy. That is.
That is
I don't want to perform, but I'll go.
No, so the stuff that from memory, if it serves me correctly, he wasn't happy with the travel because apparently the travel arrangements that he was told was completely different than what was actually happening. He was told he was maybe getting a train or something. He ended up getting a lift in someone's car. So he was just like, well, no, I'm not performing. Like, you've gone back on your word. Why am I gonna?
Fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like as a sort of like I hear a lot about, like Danny says a lot about people saying about the sort of state of battle rap, and like it lives in this sort of weird place between professional settings and then like underpasses in London. And I feel like that's fine, that's great, but like at the end of the day, you know, rappers are still performers and they're industry professionals, and you have to treat them with a level of like, you know, professionalism. So I get that. Like if I was going to a meeting at work and they were like, we're gonna set up a train for you, and then my manager pulled up in his car, I'd be like, I ain't doing it.
Wouldn't you be like, oh, decent, I don't have to go sit on a train?
I'd be like, I have to sit in a car with him and not on a train.
The car journey. I would prefer to
I get it. I mean, I'm just saying, I might have done it differently, but I get it. I 100% get it. You can't change the rules.
That's it. Like the ultimate slap in the face, though, because he wouldn't have had to have paid for a ticket either. So he like literally.
Well, he didn't get the fucking train, so I'm glad he didn't pay for a ticket. Imagine paying for a ticket and then getting in someone's car, man.
I don't know. I think I would prefer the car journey, but yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Myverse was meant to be battling Quill, so there was a lot of references to like you know, and if you believe Quill's a dude and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so was she battling twice on that event anyway?
Yeah, she battled Villain, so she was battling twice anyway.
Okay, because I wasn't sure whether it was like Quill cancelled and then somehow she's battling twice instead, or I didn't know how that worked out. So she had already planned to battle Villain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, imagine that, coming over and taking on Villain and Quill.
Well, she said the thing with Myverse is obviously this is before the Wild and Out days, was she was on a tear and she wanted to prove a point, and she wanted to prove that she could hang with some of the best over here, and I rated that energy so much, like to take on two in the same day.
I wish we had more like that in the UK. I do. Like people used to be like that. Up. Like how many battles did like how many battles do you know even like that literally got set up because people were like, I've got the itch and we're at an event, so why not? Like, do you know what I mean? Literally just freestyle battles and stuff. I'm sure loads have. And you know, some of them even make it to like the main channel back in the day and don't flop and all that sort of stuff. It's you know,
I love that. I absolutely love that. I didn't realize that was a thing, that like at the end of the event, or like sometimes they're just like, the mic's still set up.
I've only actually been to 2 events, and that's what like why I want to do this as well, get to know like a few more people in the scene and stuff, and then obviously like drag you along to some events to me as well.
Yeah.
I went to, obviously I live down south, so I went to Chalked Out Volume 3, which was the Tony and Soul event, and then I went to Empire, which was obviously Shocks and Censor. Like brilliant events to go to, like for first events. But yeah, the amount of times that I've been looking at like trains and stuff to Manchester though, like through season 1 and that, I was it was just every week I was like so close to like booking it, and I was thinking, I don't know if something come up and we just didn't or whatever. It was so annoying. I do want to get up and see a Premier Battles event.
Yeah, as soon as we can, we'll have to head up. We'll have to head up, meet up with all these people we're talking to.
Yeah, I want to do like watches and stuff as well. I keep saying it every episode. I need to shut up about it and just kind of try and get on with it. But yeah, I want to do watches as well. But I mean, you've seen our internet tonight. I can't stream.
Yeah.
Like it just that's not happening. Streaming is not happening. But if I got like a new laptop or whatever, I could. But yeah, once we can actually be in the same room as people, then we'll be able to just do it like how Avocado does, basically. You know. Yeah, and that's what I want to do. That would be sick.
Yeah, I want to have a look more at like other sort of battle rap media, because I've kind of like, obviously you were saying about I'm not looking at the forum. I'm coming in. I want to come in completely clean. The only influence I have really is Danny. So like I've wanted to keep it clean, but I do want to look at other like battle rap sort of media thing to
You
see
should
what the sort
definitely
of like
watch the
vibe
Wiretap.
is.
Yeah, so in the UK, you've got Wiretap, which is phenomenal. London Gem, who's completely just, her work rate is out of control.
Yeah.
She's
I've been trying to get both of those two on here, but they're always so busy. I'm just like, I'll leave them for now.
You've got Battle on the Roof, who I'm a big fan of. Like, you've got Battle on the Roof, they're new, they're crazy. You've got Brill. So yeah, there's a lot over in the UK, and then obviously Tom Quee as well. I don't know if he's still doing it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not done anything for a while, but I think it was before Christmas even. But I would have thought he would have popped up for Anarchy if he was about, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame. But Tom, also the Anarchy battles have started to come out now. Bobby versus Maverick is out now, and so what I want to do, Tom, is I want to see who, like, obviously from a new fan's perspective again, just like who you would have thought would win. So we won't like maybe do like an episode for each round. So once you've watched all the battles from the first round, maybe we can have a little discussion with maybe yourself, BloodStro. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll get Briggsy on as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely. Well, once we're off of this, I'll brainstorm a bit more and try and figure out like a name and all that kind of crap. But I don't know. We'll sort it. But yeah, so back to this battle. I think it's awesome when somebody does jump in for a battle. I think that battle ends up being better than the battle that was booked most of the time.
Looked great though for them. Like, to be like, I didn't even plan this, and I'm still bringing it.
Yeah. My favorite part though is she's a real Dominican, but she's not half as real as the mini can. That's just the best thing ever.
I love a pun. I feel like part of my love for battle rap is just the immense amount of puns just everywhere, and I live for it. I really do.
Yeah, no, it is good. It is, but like BloodStro, you're quite close with Oshea, and I mean, you're quite vocal about it. You know, we see you in videos and stuff. But do you ever get involved in, like, does he send you bars and stuff? Is that like the sort of relationship that you've got, or?
Nah, not really. Like, because I'm one of them where I'd prefer to hear it live, and you'd get my genuine reaction. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll be at events and Soul will be like, cool if I run around. Like, obviously before I would Premier Battle Staff and stuff like that. Like, for example, when Soul battled, where was it in Don't Flop? It might be the Caustic battle. He was like, do you mind if I run these while you? So I was like, yeah, cool. So then obviously he runs his stuff. And Oshea's done similar things. Like, obviously most of the time I'm travelling up with Oshea anyway, so I've heard all of the stuff in the car, like the Ogmios battle for a prime example. I knew that round inside out by the time we landed in Nottingham. I could have gone up and spat it, like, the amount of times I heard it in the car. But
didn't he draw that ostrich in the car on the way up or something? That's gonna sound wild weird to you, Tom.
Yeah, hey, that's right over my head.
O'Shea's the king of props. Like, he puts cards up his sleeves for no reason.
Some of the
like, he kills it.
Before we obviously had the sort of idea to do this, obviously Danny showed me obviously when we've been hanging out and stuff, he showed me a couple of battles, and it has mainly been like Oshea, loved Oshea from what you've seen me before, and Shuffle T. I think were the two names that stuck in my head.
And I knew that would be the case. I know that you're gonna prefer the comedy over bars a lot. Like, in not that you don't appreciate both, obviously, but I think I know you, so I know like how you'll be tailored. But I do. Yeah. That's why I wanted other people on, so that they can suggest the battles, because I probably wouldn't have shown you Shotty versus Arsenal yet. Like, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have saved that for, like, I don't know. But like, as soon as you said it, I was like, well, of course. Why wouldn't it's the biggest
reason I picked Shotty in Arsenal is there's a. How long were you watching Don't Flop for from the jump?
Me, I think it must have been about 10 years, because I know the battle that I watched the battle, and then a couple of weeks later your battle with Lunacy came out, and that was like the maybe third or fourth battle that I watched. So around 10 years.
The reason why I picked this is because for me Don't Flop went in stages, and this was like the final stage that just completely blew it up. So, for example, you had obviously the Blood and Water events, which were phenomenal.
Yeah.
You then had obviously the birthday event, which kept growing, but you had me and Luna in terms of tryout, 1 million views. Then you had Blizzard Mark Grist, 1 million views, telly, Channel 4, YouTube, everywhere, viral. And then what blew it just completely out of the water was Shotty Arsenal. So for me, it went in stages, and then once Shotty Arsenal hit the internet, I think it's the highest viewed battle ever, if I'm not mistaken.
The highest viewed English-speaking battle.
No, I loved it. Bang. I did. Shotty as well. Like when he first got into that his first round, I didn't think I was gonna like it just from like the vibe and like the style of it. I was just thinking, okay, not for me. But then I was well into it, just like because it was so like, especially his first round was just like constant. It was just like bar.
That was the birth of his slogan as well. When I show up to the showdown, show off when the show's on for all of the crowd. I said this on a previous episode, but on my stag do I wanted to do. Some said she wouldn't show up on t-shirts, but nobody would get the joke.
Nobody would get the joke. So I'd pretend to if you want. I'd pretend to get the joke. Yeah, I would get it now. I've seen the battle. That's it. I'm a battle rap fan.
Yeah, and this is the thing as well, is when you talk about that, like when you think of UK battle slogans, that's one of the first ones you mention. Obviously, for some reason, I've seen More in the Night has become notorious for whatever reason.
Yeah, definitely.
So like, there's that. Then there's
you will hear that a lot in battles. If you hear anybody say anything about seeing a lot in any kind of aspect, they're probably referencing BloodStro. Like
and then obviously shit on a shark from Oshea. Like they're the three main ones that you can think of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do love it as well. Like I do like the sort of like slogans and the callbacks and things like that. I love that shit. I think it's great, especially if you use it like Arsenal did it really well. I think in his like first round, I think if you can get like the entire crowd to say your slogan at the same time, I'm in. You've won me. That's it. Like you've built that up to the point where everyone in that room knows you're about to say it. And that's a skill as a performer to lead up.
It's almost like it's a leg up as well, isn't it, for the start of the battle? Like there's a battler called Tally, and his slogan's probably like 30 seconds long. But for that whole 30 seconds, the whole crowd is just saying his slogan. Like he will get a room on side so easy compared to like, you know, BloodStro, you don't have a slogan. Like it would take you maybe 6 bars to get a crowd on side or whatever in a big punch, and then he's done it by like, you know, his first word.
Yeah, he's got that free momentum.
Yeah, they're literally saying it before he does.
If you've got a good slogan, it's a cheat code. Like Tally's is perfect. Like you know who's back, and then obviously the crowd go, Tally, I don't want to hear no loose chat. I'll get your whole crew wrapped. Like the way he performs it as well. At that point, the whole crowd's just like in the palm of his hand.
Yeah,
it is a cheat code. It is a cheat code. Like for example, we mentioned it, the freestyle Royal Rumble. Obviously, I dropped Seen More in the Night, and you've seen the reaction that got. Like, it went nuts. In my battle against Big J, did the exact same thing, and the whole like, it can be a momentum shifter in a battle if it's timed perfectly and if it makes sense with the scheme that you're doing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, so obviously to talk about Oshea a bit as well. This guy was talking obviously stages that don't flop. This guy was battling like traveling down to London and stuff as well. Like
Don't Flop battle.
He was the first ever uploaded Don't Flop battle. That's
him
mental.
And ZT in the tunnel in Brighton.
That's crazy. And Don't Flop's just had its 12th birthday.
Yeah, I think so.
Or it might have had like a 13th during lockdown that's just kind of passed or whatever. But yeah, so they 13 years. That's crazy.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Oshea,
before that, though, Oshea was doing bits, wasn't he, up north and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, because Oshea was how I started battling. So obviously, I watched like 106 and Park. I remember Jin. Don't know if you've watched Jin, but like when he was on Freestyle Fridays and stuff like that, and obviously he's Chinese, and this guy kept calling him Chinese, and he was like, "Well, you say I'm Chinese, Sonny. Here's a reminder. Check your Tims. They'd probably say made in China." Destroyed, whole battle over.
Yeah.
And then I watched that, and then I came across this video, and it was Scout's rap battle. So I clicked on it, and it was Oshea in 2007 in like a field somewhere in Liverpool. And then I tried to find it a couple of years later, and that's how I came across Don't Flop. And then I went to an event, and I met him for the first time. It was when him and Innuendo did the 2-on-2 against Eddie P and Frisco, and you had the girl from the In-Betweeners hosting it. That was the first time I met Oshea.
Mad.
Tom, you kind of look surprised that a celebrity. There's been loads, mate. Loads.
It's not even that it was a celebrity. Is that one was a shock for me. Like not in like a bad way, like, but yeah, I thought, yeah, that did take me a bit of surprise.
So Tom,
not gonna lie,
I'll send you a link because I know what battle it is.
Yeah.
Don't Flop did 2-on-2 tournament, right? Which Gasping Depths in Tenchu and Lego got to the final of. But earlier on, the first round was in Brighton. Ed Sheeran's judging the battles.
What's that battle? I need to see it.
And I'm talking
Although he's
like
what?
I'm talking, this is Ed Sheeran before 18 or just about round 18. He looks so young.
That proper scrappy.
It's crazy.
It's like when you watch the first Harry Potter again. Like, it is weird, mate. Be prepared.
Back when he like properly just looked like a busker.
Yes. Yeah. Before he had money, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Rag & Bone Man as well has been to an event.
Rag & Bone Man. Yeah, Rag & Bone Man's been at events.
Weren't that when Tenchu and Big Cannon? I think it was that event. Because somebody passes out or there's a fight or something in that battle, ain't there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because you see him trying to break up the fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then obviously you've got, like, recently Anne-Marie being at events.
Mm-hmm.
Love Anne-Marie.
Obviously,
I love being to death. Like, both of them are so lovely. Like, two of the nicest people you can ever meet. And they love battling, but they understand it, which is great. Like, you can have a conversation with them. And like, obviously when Serious Jones battled Tony D, they were both at the All-Star event.
Mm.
And I just remember, like, Tony spat something and Anne-Marie broke it down ridiculous, like, and then Beanie was just like, yeah, because he meant, and it was for me, like, to see them two breaking down a battle like that, it was just crazy, and I was just like, yeah, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, because I think that's the hardest thing for a new fan. I think it is, like, learning how to listen to a battle. Like, you're not just paying attention, you're analyzing straight away, and that's why I think it's so hard for battlers as well, because there's such a high standard of it for, like, a normal fan like me, for example. Like, I'll have a higher standard of bar than what Tom would have at the moment, kind of thing, you know. And when you get so deep into it, you kind of feel like you've heard everything that you could, and then someone
will say something like,
yeah,
I'd be like Dr. Seuss in this bitch. That'd be me. But like, I get it, like, because it is like, you have to be so good that you can do really complicated shit, but make it look really simple and make it really easily digestible. And I think you have to play that line a bit of like, okay, how much do I flex my guns and of how much I can do, and then how much of that is just going to go over people's heads. Obviously, the more, and then that sort of environment makes battle rap just shrink, because only the people who are committed to watching all of the battles that are coming out are going to get all of these different references, and like that makes it hard. Like, because a lot of the bars as well, like, I'll hear them and I'll write them down. I'm like, I know that's a good bar. It sounds like a good bar. I just don't know why. And then I'll say it to Danny, and he'll go, "Oh yeah, because that's actually a rapper's name, and he did this, and then there was this whole thing." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now I know it's a good bar."
The best example of that is so one of the more, and I mean, obviously I've done the 2-on-2 with Soul, and that was an experience in itself, watching his writing process and how he analyzes battles. Like, it taught me a lot, because when I first started battling, I didn't understand the writing of battling is completely different, because I was doing grime at the time. I didn't understand the format, I didn't understand the schemes, the structure. So I only had one battle before the Lunar battle, and that one's gone viral, do you know what I mean? And I never understood how to structure a punchline or the performance aspect of it. So when I did a 2-on-2 with him in Scotland as well, and we had to change the third round on the train on the way to Glasgow. It was crazy. And then we were battling at the O2 Arena in Glasgow, and it was packed against Eddie P and Frisco, who were two of the funniest people you can. But that was, like I said, it was one of my best showings. But Soul's the perfect example of that. And one of my favourite lines of his is, "I'm not Scott, making progressive movements like when Murray did what Hemman couldn't, to make Dunblane be remembered for tennis instead of shooting." Just that one simple thing. You don't have to be, the levels are ridiculous, but straight away, I'm not Scott making progressive movements, because he was. Like when Murray did what Henman couldn't, everyone knew straight away he's talking about Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And I want to make Dunblane be remembered for tennis instead of shooting. Like, come on now. Like,
come on. Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Like, I think we said it when we was talking about Jay Short versus Frankie Fraser. Like, when it makes sense and when it hits, like, you can't help but react. Like, if you're paying attention, like, there's no way that you can not go at least widen your eyes when you hear something like that.
I keep slapping shit. I don't know why I do it, but I'll just pick something up, and I'm like, huh. I don't know why I do.
Initiation. You are now part of the group. You are now part of the UK battle rap.
It just
you
happens.
You can start saying like, I'm gonna free your bitches and all sorts, man. I'll send you the little thing that you get. There's a little card.
Something I have noticed though that a lot of people do in like battles, like in the audience, someone say goodbye and they'll just do this.
Oh, that's the UK, man. That is the UK. Everyone does it.
Like, oh. I'm gonna start doing it now. I feel like I can.
International battlers have had like bars about that, and I've heard them talk about like on Ruin Your Day and stuff as well, which they watch battles on there. But and they talk about it all the time, but it's so true. But our crowds like seem the best. Like online stuff, watching battles, they do seem the best. And obviously, BloodStro, you've been to like King of the Dot and stuff, ain't you? So what would you say? Would you agree with that, or?
I've never, and this isn't me just saying it, I've never experienced a crowd like match day one, ever. Never. And it was, I mean, I've like that in Canada. I remember Don't Flop 5th birthday in Leeds. That was one of my favourite events ever. The Ritz when Shotty battled Tony, that was phenomenal. But obviously with match day one, for the people that are watching that might not know, obviously Premier Battles is Shotty, Briggsy, me. And we did it as a football team, so each battler was in a team and you competed for the league title at the end of the season, and we had football chants. And Raptor, being Raptor, started Premier Battles.
Honestly,
and it was like it literally, honestly, it was like the Mexican wave. It just spread all, and this venue's 500 people. Every single one of them's chanting it. People are chanting it. Like, people are coming downstairs chanting it. So then obviously we then on stage start chanting it, and we used it in the trailer because they just went nuts. And then obviously we had chants for the battlers, like footballers have chants like soul, like we've got soul, always believe. So like we had that. And then obviously
and do you know what though? I was gonna say,
like it was, I've never experienced anything like it. It was like being at a football game, but at a battle event. It was ridiculous how mad that crowd was.
Yeah, and like as far as intros go to battles and stuff, like as a fan watching that bit where they're walking down and all that, like that was like, I don't know, it was just like recreating the wheel in a way, but like, you know what I mean, it was like inventive in a way, because we don't normally see the kind of setup of it all. It's just like, right, they're on stage and there's Earth's face kind of thing, you know. That's what we were used to.
I really liked the battles I watched because of the just production value. Like I think it makes it so much better to have the sort of match cards come in, like when it beginning of the round, it just put wins and losses and like just made it feel a bit more like, I don't know, built the anticipation a bit, like it made it feel more serious. Like
and that was what Don't Flop used to always do. Like they did, but BattleRap lost its kind of competitive edge for a bit because everyone was just focusing on getting internationals, really, I think. And international people didn't want to come over here and take an official loss. So, you know.
And this is why when we did PB, one, we wanted to do it slightly differently, but secondly, we wanted to bring the competitive nature back, and we wanted wins and losses to count. And what better way than to do the one thing that me, Briggs, and Shotty love, which was football. And we tied the two together. So in terms of, you've got a team, you had your own jersey with your name on the back, you had your own chant, your team had its own chant. Your battle would then be, we'd only do 3 battles.
And do you know what?
You can't win, or like, do you know what I mean? You can't. There's no draws. So one team's picking up a victory, which will go to the league table, and then what would be normally on a card, everyone like, oh, that's just a card filler. That battle could win you the match day, so that battle became important. So and the thing as well is, like you mentioned, was we tried different things with the production. So like, as you can see with the Bobby Rex, where he's backstage and then he's walking onto the stage, and then you just go into the intro with and then you see the crowd going nuts. And then, for example, Apex as well, where they were backstage and like Chiller Jones, for example, is going over his rounds, and then you see him walking onto the stage, and then you see him being introduced, because that was a headache, because we had to time that perfectly. So you had Briggsy on stage, I'm backstage walking with Nick, and then obviously we're trying to time when for him to walk out, because obviously it had to
That
from
sync.
the camera angle. So yeah,
But
but
do you
it
know
came
what
out
you're saying?
phenomenal.
You're saying that it was a bit of a pain in the ass. I do just want to say it was worth it. Like as a fan, like that little snippet
It
seems
paid
like
off.
we got so much more value out of that. I don't know why.
It wasn't that it was a pain in the ass. It was, I've never felt so under pressure to walk from one room to another.
Mate, it's
Like,
when
'cause
it's
if
live, isn't
mistimed
it?
If I mistimed it, he's there early.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's having to stand there, whereas we wanted it to be like
One fluid like motion.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it a watch. I've not seen that one. I don't think.
No, you've not seen anything from Premier Battles yet, but
Have
we
I not?
will. You will
yeah.
be. Don't worry. There's
Yeah.
a couple of battles I want to watch. Like I wanted to talk about Oshea versus Rap actually, whilst we was talking about Oshea versus Myverse, because obviously Oshea, basically, right, whoever Oshea is against, and this is why you can argue Oshea is definitely not sexist or in that way. Like I don't think anyway. Because he battled Raptor, who's Mancunian in Manchester, and stood up on that stage and said he hates all these dirty Manc bastards. Like, you know what I mean? He will do it no matter what it is, no matter who you are. Like when he battled Tony D in London and he starts talking about Southern fairies and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's like he will do it to whoever it is. And that's his style. And I was gonna say, like, obviously Oshea being there from like start to now, if that was your first battle seeing Oshea,
it would make you not like him.
Opinion.
Yeah, it would make you not like him. That is hard, but
it would be like hearing Jimmy Carr's first joke being like a joke that's really deep, like about racist, stupid like that he does. It'd be like hearing that.
You have to warm yourself up. You have to warm yourself up with him hating Mancunians first, and then build up.
Here's the thing with Oshea. Without Oshea, UK battle rap isn't where it is.
Not at all. No.
Yeah. I'm not. This is the third. I've watched maybe like 7 battles, like from like start to finish. Really watched them like on my own. Outside of that, the only battles I remember are O'Shea's. Really, and one from the first battle rap, the first rap battle I ever watched was fucking years ago, and it was an English teacher.
Blizzard and Mark Grist.
That's the one. Yeah, I want to talk to Mark Grist. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to the English teacher that raps.
I think that'll be a little bit difficult, but that was a classic, and I think that's a battle that like this was around this sort of time when this is when Don't Flop was getting those sort of views. Like it was crazy. Everything blew up. It was like, what do you think was like obviously Don't Flop falling out and all that kind of rubbish, whatever, but do you like the views were kind of already kind of going down, weren't they, at that point? Like, do you think there was anything, like, a lot of people have been saying recently that the audience just got older and moved on, and like a new audience just hasn't come in? Like, I mean, I'm 28 and I'm still watching it, do you know what I mean? But I don't think I'll ever stop watching it. With
some. So, for example, as I mentioned, the 5th birthday, we did it at Leeds Uni because they had a venue downstairs, which was ridiculous because you walk down these stairs at Leeds Uni, to the left you've got a pub inside a university which was downstairs, and like you could sit in the pub, and then to the right you had like a little supermarket, and then you'd come out the supermarket, you'd go through these double doors, and you're at this 1,000 capacity venue.
Mad.
And it was one of the best venues I've ever seen. So obviously battlers, if they weren't battling, they were either chilling backstage or they were in the pub having a drink, getting food, like having a good time. And but a lot of the people that were there that day were from the uni.
Okay.
So there was a lot of people there, and I know this better than anyone. Was me and Luna at one of the, I think it was to the Test 10, was stood outside, and obviously that was in Leeds. The amount of fans. And this is why Oshea turned around and said, your fans are like 13 years old. The amount of fans that would come up, and they were so young. And they were like, oh, can we have a picture? And I just think that, not that they don't watch it, I don't think they watched it as much as they did, and they just grew out of it, and they just got on with the normal adult life, do you know what I mean? Which is sad, but there's a number of different factors. Like, I don't think, as a scene, we really tried to get more people's eyes involved, which is why, for example, you look at, like, obviously Don't Flop's starting to do it now. I think Gifted Gab's doing a phenomenal job getting a new talent of watchers to come in and cast eyes on UK battle rap, which normally wouldn't. Obviously, I think URL coming over, that opened our eyes and to a complete different set of fans, which
because a lot of people
at events. So the fans are out there. It's down to the leagues to go and get them, which is why we've been doing academy events and stuff like that.
Because a lot of people were saying like the people that were at like the URL events and stuff, like they wouldn't have even known who like BloodStro is, for example. Do you know what I mean? And that's weird. To me, that would be weird. But then there are people on URL that I ain't heard of, because I don't watch like every URL battle. I'll only watch a certain like couple of battlers really. Same with the King of the Dot, if I'm honest. I like UK battle rap, that's what I'm a fan of, but there are a lot of internationals that I like to watch. But again, it would depend who they're against as well, I guess. I don't know. I like watching UK mainly, and that's why like I'm interested to see, like, Tom, did you see any kind of differences in like obviously apart from accents and stuff, but between like an American battler and a UK battler? Was there much of a difference, or was it all kind of palatable still?
What was your thoughts on Arsenal?
Arsenal shocked me, you know. Like when the way he was like in the first round, the way he was eyeing up Shotty, it looked like he was gonna eat him. Like literally looked like he was gonna whip out a knife and fork and eat him. And then he like pulled out his fucking Arsenal jersey on, and I was like, okay, he's jokes. Okay, like I'm with it now. But I really liked him actually. Really tough one for me to call, if I'm honest. But I don't think I could really. I mean, if he spoke in an English accent, I don't think I would really be able to tell the difference. I think obviously he did more gun bars than Shotty did, but a lot of UK rappers do gun bars, like, a lot more than I thought would. But yeah, no, I don't think there was like a massive difference in their sort of style. I guess maybe a bit slower than Shotty in like sort of pace. Pace was probably a bit slower. But like, no, I don't think there's like massive difference. But then again, I've watched like the tiniest little sample of American rap. You know what I mean? Like American battle rap. But I would like to watch more, because that's an interesting point. Yeah. Like, I wonder how different it is, because like American rap and English, you know, grime, crazy different. So obviously it might be the same with battle rap.
So Tom, do you know the background of Arsenal?
No.
So, Grape Street Crip member, gang affiliated, Mr. Disrespect, the most viewed battler in the world in terms of overall body of views, and Mr. Disrespectful, this man will go to no extremes and he doesn't care. He will backflip over that line. Like, he's done it on multiple occasions. Dead relatives, as you've seen with this battle. He's done it in other battles. He's talked about dead relatives, everything, nothing's
children, all sorts.
Nothing's sacred to this man. It's mad though, because even when he said, like, he even said at first, he's like, I'm gonna say some shit that I will deserve a punch for. Like, to say that to somebody's face and then say it anyway, like, that's a tough watch, man. That's a tough break.
It's difficult as well. Like, do you think? Okay, so obviously that's the kind of thing that we wanted to talk about as well here. So I kind of want to try and like wrap it all up into that. Like, so obviously the stuff that Oshea was saying, the whole coming on his son's head and the sexism stuff that he does say, there is a few bits. Would that be like too much for you, Tom, or what was your thoughts on that? Like, is that somewhere where you would be like, right, just knowing what you know of Oshea now, is that enough? You probably wouldn't watch any more Oshea. What's your thoughts?
It's not that I wouldn't watch Oshea. I would still watch Oshea. But if I mean, like, I wouldn't fanboy over him. I think he's done I think he's an incredible rapper. And I think he's done incredible things. But now, like, I wouldn't, if I was to introduce somebody to battle rap, I probably wouldn't show them Oshea first. Like, I would probably show them like Shuffle T first, or like Shuffle T's TikTok first, and be like, this guy, watch a couple of these, then I'll show you a battle, and then work way up to people who are more antagonistic. Because like people do care about this kind of shit now, like a lot more than they used to 10 years ago. So like I think that is probably a big thing when it comes to fans, is the
definitely.
age demographic you had before now are a lot more sensitive to those sorts of things. So it won't take as much for them to be like, you know what, maybe I'll just watch anime instead. and then that's it. You've lost a view.
Yeah, no,
But
I can understand that, definitely.
I think, and when it comes to like Arsenal, and like going in about like dead relatives and stuff, I think what you said, Stro, is probably the best way of putting it. Like, you have to know who you're going against and know where the line is for that other person. Because, like, bringing up dead relatives isn't in itself an offensive thing to do. Like, but you have to know if the other person on the other side of it is going to take offense to you bringing them up. And those are two very different things. Like, I wouldn't like it at all if someone started bringing up my dead relatives. Like, I don't think that's cool, but I can't imagine Oshea caring that much. Like, I don't know the kid. Like, he might, that might be where his line is. I don't know him. I can't speak to him, speak to his like thoughts or whatever. But yeah, I think with some people, you probably can get away with more shit like that. But when it comes to like general shit, like when you start like with sexism, that affects a lot. That's like a real big issue that like we need to talk about. So like you have to be a bit more careful with those sorts of things, I think.
With you saying that, so I don't know if you know this, Danny. Oshea battled a guy called Sensor, right? And they've had two battles. One of them was for the Don't Flop title, which was the rematch.
Yeah.
And there was the first battle, I believe it was in Norwich. And Sensor basically said a line about Reece Jones. Obviously, Oshea being from Liverpool, as you can imagine, that didn't go down well with Oshea and people in Liverpool, to the point where there was gangsters in Liverpool ringing O'Shea's phone, wanting to get hold of Sensor. And Sensor was basically put on a no-fly zone to go to Liverpool. It got that serious. So,
jeez.
Yeah, and this is what people need to understand is, I've got a lot of love for Sensor. I've got a lot of time for Sensor, but with that, I think he learned a valuable lesson, because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's you live and die by what you say.
Yeah, especially now.
Specifically.
Especially now. You can't even write a status without somebody bringing it up 6 years later. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, and this is what I mean. So I know there was a lot of threats, a lot of real stuff came from that, and I think it was just for us, the battlers who were on the scene at that point, it was kind of a wake-up call, as if to say, be on your P's and Q's in terms of know the line. And obviously we would have the conversation once it got confirmed. We'd be like, look, this is off limits, or I don't want you talking about that. And then if they brought it up, then you'd have the conversation afterwards, like, and then
we're playing at.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But that raised a big light, as if to say, like, look, be careful with what you're saying.
Yeah, like everyone needs to have a chat about this before somebody gets fucking hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so like obviously I think you can say, you know, like we said, you're going into a battle rap, right? You're meant to break down your opponent in whatever way that you can. Sometimes people fight dirty. You've just got to kind of deal with the backlash of what you say. Really,
but that's the thing. That's the thing for me, is like, if you want battle rap to be seen as a more professional sport, if you fight dirty in UFC, what happens? They stop the fight and they drag out the person who fought dirty and he lost. Yeah, would battle rap fans be okay with that?
No, because battle rap wasn't competitive. Like, I think if it was now, like, say season 1 Premier Battles, for example, right? Let's say somebody starts to bring up something like horrible kids or whatever. Like, I think there would be more of a line of like, nah, they're going to lose that battle because of what they've said as well. Like, there was like criteria, do you know what I mean? And where you had to pick a winner, that can lose you the battle. So it's a massive risk. Like, Enigma, for example, right? He says a bar, and I'm sure you knew this was going to come up straight, but he says a bar, right, Tom, where he's battling a girl, and he basically says, I would rather stick my dick in my own 4-year-old daughter's mouth, right? Not basically. He
told me about that bar. Yeah, you've told me about that bar.
He's not saying I want to do that. He's saying I would rather than do it.
That is hyperbole. if you were to take it in an English literature sense. Like, I would rather shit in my hands and clap. I would never rather shit in my hands and clap. I would do anything but that.
Yeah.
I think there is room for hyperbole.
There's a lot of people that cancelled out Enigma after that and wouldn't watch him after that. And, you know, there was a massive uproar about it. But like they just heard the shock part of it, not the creative bar that came with it in a way, I guess.
Danny.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about personals and stuff like that. Does he know about Caustic and Jefferson Price?
No. No. I thought this would have to be a whole episode, to be fair. But without going into too much detail, we'll let him know, just because I don't want to run this over too long. But
So
when we come back on, though, we will do other episodes with BloodStro, definitely, man. But yeah, go.
So Tom,
this was at the event of Shotty and Arsenal as well, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
So an American battler comes over, battles a UK battler, and the UK battler was doing some stuff at events which could have got him into a lot of trouble. The UK battler, basically, Jefferson Price, found out that he was going to spit around about it. They came to an agreement the night before. Lo and behold, day of the battle, he's like, sorry, kiddo. Basically brought up the fact that they came to an agreement. He was like, but there's no compromises made, because honestly, not a lot was changed, because all they said was that I'd probably drop the names. You know what we agreed to, but there was no promises made. And he might have talked to Daniel Stefani yesterday, but you're talking to Caustic today. And then he goes into the round, what he was going to spit anyway, and it ruined his life to the point where you'd never seen Jefferson Price in UK battle rap again.
No, honestly, Tom, nobody has heard from this kid since that.
No. People have heard from him. Like, I know soul and definition of soul to him.
Yeah.
So just to get my names confused. So Caustic is the US.
Yeah.
And then who's the UK guy?
Jefferson Price.
So who was it? Price said to Caustic, like, this, I need you to leave this off the table.
Yeah, so
Caustic
basically
agreed and then brought it anyway and just fucked him up.
So basically what happened was apparently Caustic said his rhymes in front of Mickey Worthless. Mickey, because he was close with Jefferson Price, told him that this was in the round. I'm not going to tell you what, because I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
But Jefferson found out, spoke to Caustic the night before the event, and was just like, look, this will destroy me. I don't want you using it. So Caustic was like, cool. And then obviously, as I mentioned, when it came to the event, he spat the whole thing. He was like, you might have spoken to Daniel Stefani yesterday, but today you're talking to fucking Caustic today.
That's true, man,
honestly.
To body rappers. And you never seen him again.
Yeah, you just needed one of those videos, like slow motion, go black and white, and just like, this is the moment. He fucked up. Like, honestly, it was that moment. He just, I bet he just wanted the floor to just open up and just swallow him whole.
It's one of them.
Hands and feet must have felt cold. And then when he first said, as soon as he realised he was about to bring it up, he must.
No. You see his face, because when he goes, because you might have talked to Daniel Stefani yesterday, but today you're talking to you're talking to fucking Caustic today. You see when you see his face change, and he realizes it's. Actually, I was close with Jefferson Price, like when he's battled Definition, which was his biggest battle at that point. I've seen more than that you've seen in his life in that battle. Like, me and him were close. And I've tried to reach out to him, and I've not been able to get hold of him properly. But yeah, it was just because knowing him, and I'd been at events with him, I'd been at hotel rooms chilling with him after events, like, that was hard to watch.
That is brutal as fuck as well, to especially like the fact that he thought it was all squared away. Like, he's like, oh phew, I've dodged that bullet. And then
otherwise he wasn't going to do the battle.
Yeah.
Really? Caustic done it in his third round as well, didn't he? So he couldn't even walk up and ruin the battle and not get filmed.
His third?
His third, wasn't it? The last thing
it was his third.
Because after that battle, Tom, Soul, the Scottish rapper that we was talking about earlier, he got up on stage and whacked Caustic for it. But that's a notorious moment as well that we will get into. I don't want to get into that now, because that's
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Another episode. I'll come back on that another episode.
Yeah, definitely. We can probably just talk about the 4th birthday, to be fair. There was a lot that happened in that.
I'll have to watch it, and then we'll get
on Helium battling on that event as well, wasn't it? He kept doing
the Helium.
And mental. I need to introduce you to Pedro, actually. I want you to watch Pedro Mirror match.
Yeah, mean, that he sounds like a funny guy if he's going to be doing
Pedro versus the MC.
I like that as well. Like a lot of the sort of like gimmicky battles. I love that shit because like it is. I hate ego. Is something that I think personally, I think it gets in the way too much. So battles like mirror battles and like slightly jokey ones, I think is a perfect time for rappers to be like, without all of the beef and all of the shock and all of the hype, I can just spit bars, even if it's at a bottle of Fanta and a stick. Like the Shuffle T thing sticks in my head because he managed to body a stick. Like, so I think that's probably a really good way as well of getting like new fans in, like taking the egos out, taking the not even the aggression, but taking some of that sort of tension away. I think it's a good way of getting people in.
Like a lot of jokes are very like incestual, and it's hard to understand.
A lot of references.
Yeah, like I've shown you Quill and Harry Baker, the video games battle, for example. You really got that, and a lot of the references and the way they was edited, it's really good. Yeah. All right, so I've got like a couple more questions now. I want to wrap this up. So firstly, what do you think was worse? Like, what is close to the line for you, right? Oshea doing all that he done, like, you know, I think mainly really is the story of his son. That I think was just a shock factor one, that it would have worked for some, but not for everyone. Or like Arsenal with Shotty's obviously dead relatives and that. What would you say is worse, like the one that you felt more uncomfortable hearing, I guess? BloodStro, we'll start with you. I was just like opening up that question.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, go straight. What did you reckon?
The Shotty one.
Yeah. Tom?
See, I think I had the biggest reaction to Arsenal's one. That made me the most, not uncomfortable, but like tense. Like I was waiting for some shit to go down, whereas like I was more not disappointed, but like I feel like that sounded really fucking bad. But like I feel like O'Shea's one was probably worse for the industry, whereas like Arsenal's one is worse to watch, I think, because like that will put off like to say.
This is what I was going to say.
Like, let me step back for this. If you're a G in any way, shape, or form, you should react to this. What I'm basically saying is, I shouldn't be able to say a motherfucking word. See, I've watched that many battles. I've got so much engraved in my head. I can remember everything. But yeah, like the way you set it up made it so much worse.
Yeah, because it built that tension of like, what the fuck is he gonna say?
But also,
like, what is he gonna say?
He didn't just bring up a dead rat. He said about how he died. Like he deserved to be caught in the crossfire when that didn't happen. Like I think that's the worst thing about the whole thing, like that he done. I think that is the worst thing, is the fact that he's making something up as well. Like, you know, you don't know that guy has actually suffered for years and years, and that's actually like, I don't know. That was the bit that I didn't like. It's
definitely like, I think it's one of those things though where like, yeah, I mean it's fucked up and it leaves a really bad taste in your mouth. But like, they weren't bad bars, and Shotty didn't. Obviously, you could see that it affected him, because he was a lot stiller. Like you could tell he had to sort of, you know, compose himself a bit. But I mean, he took it on the chin. I hope that. Do we know if was there any sort of like beef or anything between them two afterwards?
No,
they had a rematch. Say anything?
Them two were really close.
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah, all the time. Shotty went over to America and battled on his league, which was like the first UK guy to do that. Yeah,
in the middle of New Jersey, surrounded by Bloods and Crips.
Yeah. And then there was just Shotty with his fucking white head shining and that as well, just sticking out like a sore thumb. Just mental. But seeing him on there, it was weird. Like, as a fan, you felt pride that he was over there, because it was like, this is the first. There's even like Canadians or some Americans that couldn't get there. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like one of our guys.
It's mad, like, because obviously I've been King of the Dot, Canada, with Shotty. We're at the airport in Canada waiting for luggage, and people are coming up for him asking for autographs and pictures. Like, he's
mad.
It is mad. Yeah, that is crazy. All right, so my last question. I always try and get Tom to have a bit of homework in between episodes. BloodStro, if you could name like just a couple of battles that you think Tom should watch, basically, and it could be anything. It could be on beat. gimmick battles, whatever you want.
Definitely after we talked about it, Jefferson Price Caustic.
Yeah, I've got that one written down. I don't need to write that down.
It's fine.
A couple battles, because I've got a few.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead. It's a list.
So I don't know if you've watched it or not. Shuffle T and Marlo against Big J and Lefty.
So that's the Tom, you have watched it. I want to feel his.
I'll watch it again.
On my face. Right. Yeah, you will watch it again. You'll get more now.
Yeah.
Soul Most Prob.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I've not heard that one yet. Like be mentioned when I put this on like Facebook and stuff and asked. That's a really good shout. I'm writing that. I'm gonna write that down.
Who's that one? Sarwin do.
Who was that? Who was that? That's Shotty, in it.
What?
When he battles Hitman Holler, I think, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna write that down. Oh, he's the new number 42 for the Rockets." That's it, isn't it? I say that all the time, right? And I've never even known where I got that from. Like whenever somebody's like, "I'll write it down," I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna write that down."
And then Briggsy Bamalam.
Briggsy Bamalam, yeah.
Love the name. So, and some of the names in BattleRap is brilliant. I'm sorry that some of them are so class.
Some of them are really bad as well, they mate. Like you ain't seen anything yet.
No, there was one that I saw that was really bad, and I can't remember what it was.
Remember the girl who used to battle?
What?
Deep Throat Thug.
Yeah, Deep Throat Thug. That's a female battler, Tom.
Yeah, own that shit. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I mean, if he's can be called Arsenal because he's proud of his Arsenal, she can be called Deep Throat. Be proud of your skills, lab. Go for it. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, you do you.
Yeah, you do you. I'll remember it. I'll tell you that much.
There definitely is. We should probably do an episode on names one day as well. I think that'd be quite good.
I'll have to have my own episode, just like Tom's Corner, where I just talk about the random shit. Funny names. Who has the funniest name?
No, definitely. So yeah, right. Before we head out, I just wanted to quickly, because I tried to do it with Jan yesterday and it didn't really work. But BloodStro, do you just want to quickly like plug about the Anarchy tournament and stuff and where people can find it and all of that kind of stuff? Yeah, go ahead, man.
So obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed there's not been many UK King of the Dot world domination like you used to see. So we partnered up with King of the Dot and Twitch. So the Anarchy tournament is live on King of the Dot's Twitch, which is streaming worldwide. So it gives us a different perspective, a different fan base. The mechanics behind it is absolutely crazy. It takes about 3.5 hours before the event to get it set up and make sure everything's running smoothly. So we've got that. Obviously, the battles will be dropping to YouTube, and obviously we've got the VOD for the people that can't watch the Twitch. But it's basically Anarchy tournament, £2,500 on the line, a trip to King of the Dot to Canada, and also I think it's a UK title shot. I can't remember, but yeah. It's
big stakes
in the UK.
Big stakes.
Yeah, Tom as well. The UK title is like a UK title, like
a belt, isn't it? Yeah, you said.
I'll get a picture. I will send you a picture of it when we get off this. But yeah, obviously,
that's my goal. So I want to hold that belt at some point.
The next round that's still going to be on Twitch, right? On the 24th of April.
Every round's on Twitch.
So even if like lockdown changes and stuff, or we maybe might get a live event or not at all. What do you reckon? Is it just not? It's not.
So basically, undisclosed is what I'm doing. So after in June, I think it's the semi-final. The next day there's an undisclosed event, which is the one that fans are going to be at. But Anarchy is on Twitch all the way through.
Cool.
Well, maybe we can make that undisclosed event Tom's first event and come and do a little bit of a review on it and stuff. All right, we'll talk off scenes. That's a hot take. We'll try and do that definitely.
I'll put it in my diary.
Yeah, but BloodStro, honestly, man, thank you for coming on. I was really excited to get you on as well. Is there anything that you wanted to plug? Just your own socials and stuff before we head out.
One sec. Let me just quickly move because it's a bit loud. Just one sec. Give me one sec.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's cool.
God damn. How long have we been going for now then?
I think it's about an hour and 20.
That's that good stuff. We are going to have to learn how to edit at some point. You know that, right?
I just kind of want to just keep doing these sort of ones before. But yeah, go ahead. Man. Go ahead.
So the only, like, obviously Premier Battles. Make sure you follow Premier Battles on all social media accounts. Make sure you follow all the staff. The big one for me will always be the Alicia Wayman Foundation. So the foundation that I set up in honor of my little sister that passed away, who suffered from mental health. So, as you know, I've been doing charity football games, raising money for mental health, and I will continue to until the day that I go and meet her and prepare the gate. So yeah, the Alicia Wayman Foundation. So make sure you give that a like.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll drop a link or something in the description.
Send me all the socials, man. Definitely. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for coming on, man. I think you've given Tom like a real good insight to it. I think we could talk for hours as well. I think there's so much that you could give us out of this. So we'll definitely have another episode soon.
We'll have you back.
We'll try and maybe do the name one. I think would be quite good as well. Go through some real bad battle rap names.
I'll find my favorites.
Yeah, I think somebody done a video of it, but I'll have a little look and let you know. But yeah.
What do you mean? No, that was a completely original idea. All mine.
Yeah. But honestly, thank you. This has been episode 3. We've been looking at Shotty, Arsenal, and Oshea Myverse. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let us know in the comments what you want us to watch or who you want us to have on and everything as well. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Peace.